Hello, what's up? Okay, the anger is good. All right. Hi, it's been what? I think I vlogged yesterday. So it's 30 April today and it's 6 a.m. Wait a minute. You saw the daylight, didn't you? Spent all the night uh, figuring out, well, not figuring out. Actually, I started off late. Started working at like 1 a.m. because of some stupid reason, and I got involved in basically in recording one of my sister's homework or some stuff, and I didn't realize so much of time had passed by. I'm kind of whispering right now because I don't want to wake people up in my house, but it was my sister's exhibition or something, and we started recording like some presentation or something like that, and इतना time निकल गया कि I completely missed out, and I had some stuff that I had to finish before sleeping. So now I had to like stay up extra 2-3 hours and I had to finish this off. So our first ever client for Peach Indian Brands, the NDA is all approved now, so we are very close to sharing with them the roster. And वही roster मेरे को prepare करना था. Like I had all the names, like I had all the influencers, what do you call, agreement on joining on being a part of that roster, but I just had to prepare that Google Slides roster and everything and all the details, all the links and all that stuff. So I had to do that. And because now the NDA is approved by our first ever company. Actually notifications both are kabhi kabhi. Yeah. But so the first ever company now, first ever client now, we'll be sharing with them the roster, and whoever they choose to work with, we will then ask that influencer again if they're interested to work, and if that's a yes as well, then we'll get the purchase order from the client, and everything will go smoothly and all that stuff. And luckily enough, we don't have to go through that mess of personal account and everything, because even bank account, like kal raat ko hi sub formalize ho gaya hai. I just have to finish up, like literally the directors of the company just have to digital sign through PDF, and literally 2 days later it'll get approved. So we are lucky enough the timing of this has like come at the right time, because now what happens is the purchase order, if we get in the next week or so, will perfectly fit in with the timing of our timing of the bank, which is like in next 3-4 days we will get the account. So it is a perfect timing, so we won't have a mess in terms of our accounts, in terms of our finances and taxes and all that stuff. And so I was preparing that roster, and now that I'm looking at the rosters are in front of me right now. Yep, right here. And we have around 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. We have around 9. Oh no, first slide though. Okay, 8. We have around we have 8. We have 8 influencers, and these are not just influencers. These are like celebs slash influencers slash actors slash TV stars. So there's some big names, and I'm and these are all according to the criteria that this client was looking for in specific. And this is the classic brand endorsement model, so we don't have to record or track the per click returns. We just have to say okay, this much transaction has to be made, and they will post the video on their accounts and blah blah blah. So this is looking exciting, and we have some big names here, and I'm sure once the client sees this, they will be excited to work with these celebs, especially one that I have in mind. This influencer is huge. Like, she has a a very big fan following in tens of lakhs, a very big following. And if this works out well, we'll be having our first ever client approved, first ever transaction made. Considering we just started finding clients like 2 weeks, 3 weeks back. Considering that, like if we get our first client secured, that's a pretty like fair enough achievement, you know. So that was what I was staying up for, and also I had to like and also I what do you call uh registered for Startup India program, where you know you get tax exemption for being a startup in India for the first 3 years. So if you register and fill up their online form, it's free. It's completely free to fill up the form. So once you fill up that form, you have to wait for like a few days, maybe even weeks, until I don't know. That's what I've heard. You know, maybe a few days until if they accept your startup to be a part of the Startup India program, then you will get a tax exemption for 3 years if you don't cross like 100 crore. I think revenue or profit, like whatever it is, just check startupindia.gov.in. I think that's the link. Just search Startup India program on Google and you'll get the first link and click on that, and they will tell you like properly about, you know, what are the rules for registering as a startup. So if you're an Indian startup and you're not earning in hundreds of crores and probably like just in lakhs, then this is the perfect place to be. You'll get like 3 years free tax, and you can, you know, वही जो tax का पैसा जाएगा, that itself you can spend on, you know, developing your startup even more. So that's that. So that's what I registered along with this roster that I prepared, and also I talked to okay. Here's the thing. I'm starting another podcast. So because the marketing podcast, which was Let's Sell in India, that was the name of the podcast. Because now that's on the back burner, because you know, contacting these executives takes time, takes a lot of effort, and also have, you know, like I told, उसमें बहुत hassle है. Now what I'm thinking is, for the meanwhile, because I had, you know, put out some time for that podcast. Now for the meanwhile, I'm building a personal brand, where now there's another podcast that I'm starting. Its name is Project Little India. So I'll of course I'll officially upload the trailer and all. But Project Little India is basically, you know, an online community where we are basically making a little India online, you know. So any episode you see will talk about the Indian culture, will talk about, you know, what's happening in Bollywood, what's relevant today in India, you know, be it because right now like the whole COVID situation is getting out of hand, right? So right now it would make a lot of sense for me to talk to doctors, talk to you know, medical leaders, or you know, executives working in vaccination companies, like stuff like that, where you know we can inform the Indian audience regarding the relevant topics that are happening in India, you know, today, or like, you know, this week. So that's the whole mindset. And with this podcast, I'm basically aiming to, you know, have this community online, be it NRIs, be it Indians, to, you know, discuss like the current topics, current affairs. Now this won't dive. I'll try my best to stay away from religion, stay away from politics, stay away from like news, you know, like the political or opinionated news. I'll try to stay away from that. But you know, just facts is what I'm gonna present here. And like, you know, if there's any Bollywood drama which we all love, if there is, you know, some influencer that I have gotten into Beast Indian brands who is interested to podcast, like we can talk about that. We can talk about their journey in, you know, in being an influencer, and how they you know, recommend an aspiring influencer to, you know, follow their path, or maybe, you know, make their own, and try their luck in, you know, in being a content creator online. So usi ke liye right now I was making a list of, you know, which kind of guests I'll be inviting, and you know, making like a mental framework about what kind of podcast this will be. And I've already contacted an influencer, and this influencer in specific is not the biggest influencer we have, not the smallest as well. He has a pretty decent, and to be honest, he has a pretty big enough YouTube channel. Like, if I hit that kind of a number, I'll be very happy. So I'm definitely a bit jealous of the guy. But so I've talked to him, and he seems like a very nice guy, which is why I wanted him to be the first guest on the podcast. So I talked to him, and he seems interested. He told me that he'll get back, and looking forward for that. Hopefully this will be an Insta live that I'll record and upload on YouTube, because that will take lesser editing, lesser resources, or if not, then just a Zoom call that will be recorded, stuff like that. So this will be very spontaneous compared to the Chal Let's Sell in India, because I wanted Chal Let's Sell in India to be a bit more formal, a bit more planned. Like, this can be very spontaneous podcast. This can be something, okay, I have free time, let's talk to someone and let's get another podcast in for the week. So this is like my podcast, this is where I decide what to talk. Chal Let's Sell in India would have been more educational, would have been more value provided, like the whole idea of that Chal Let's Sell in India podcast was to provide value. But in this case, in Project Little India, I can talk about my life story. I can talk about the guest's life story, about what they want to speak, and it's a very spontaneous thing, like I said. Now, other than that, I was also talking to one of my colleagues, and today has been a big day. Last few hours has been quite a busy time. So I also talked to one of my colleagues, and he got me 2 new potential leads for Beach Indian brands, and I will have to start like Zoom calling with them, start planning out what they want, what they need, and how we can help them. From what it seems, one of those clients has responded back, and he or she is interested in athletic influencers. And we had an agency that we wanted to collaborate with for a long time, but we didn't get the opportunity, and I feel like this is the right one, where we can support a lot of their athletic influencers, and get things started from there. So I'm definitely excited for that. And another thing that happened in the last few hours was that my company got its GST identification number. So we had this applied for a week and blah blah blah, and at last we got our GST IN, which means that we can start paying GST. Yay, guys, pay your taxes. Look, I don't know exact details about the GST rules with the Startup India program, but of course, like any tax that I have to pay, I'll be paying. Indian government ko support karna hai yaar. We have to take India to a next level. So that's that. And yeah, so it has been pretty much a busy last few hours, and now I'll sleep for a while. And uske baad I'll get back to work for university work now. It has been like a couple of hours just focusing on this now. University work will otherwise be a lot of it will be pending. So उठने के बाद I will focus on university work until night, and then सोने से पहले 2-3 घंटा I will spend again on this vlog recording, maybe for tomorrow, and maybe even start writing the blog, but yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for tuning in. Again, stay home, stay safe. इंडिया में बहुत कोविड फैल रहा है अभी, सो प्लीज़ टेक केयर गाइज इफ़ यू कैन. राइट नाउ 18+ के लिए ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट हो चुका है वैक्सीनेशन कैंप. सो इफ़ यू 18+ एंड इफ़ यू कैन लीव द हाउस राइट नाउ, इफ इट्स सेफ इनफ फॉर यू, अगर आपके घर में बूढ़े नहीं है एंड not many elderly people in your house, then you should go and get vaccinated. And even if there are elderly people, if you can go safely outside, I definitely recommend for you guys to get vaccinated as soon as possible. Yeah, I guess that's it. So tune in tomorrow and I'll update you guys about how today went. All right, good night. I'm gonna sleep now.